Caramba, somebody stole my caballo. Don't I know you from someplace?
I'm Chili Bill, and we're doing a man on the range interview. And I would like for you to try some of this.
Smells like chili.
That's Chilibill's Championship Chili. You'll find that recipe and many more, and if you like it hot. Town, send for it.
See?
Howdy, partners. Welcome to another edition of Chilibill's Kitchen. Well, today we're going to be cooking some real, authentic Western food, about as far west as you can get. We're going to be using a little bit of equipment that most people don't know too much about. Looks like a window blind to me. Somebody lost their window blind. And I think I know what these are. I think these are called either chopsticks or hashis. I'm not sure exactly, but we're going to have that explained to us. And I think you'll want to find out what some of this other stuff is. I'm not too sure myself. So stay tuned. We'll be right back. Well, here we are. We've got our guest here, Nancy Matsui, right?
Correct.
I pronounced it
Very
correctly.
Good.
And she's a teacher, and what grade do you teach?
I've been teaching kindergarten and going
Kindergarten. I'll bet you've got your hands full in that, don't you?
The little ones are a handful,
Yeah,
yes.
I'll bet they are. Now, I understand you also teach a little older people, too, at Phoenix College. Is that
Yeah,
right?
for a little change, I like to teach adults, and I'm into Oriental cooking.
Oriental cooking. Not just Japanese, but
Not
Oriental
just
cooking.
Japanese.
Huh?
My
And
husband
and
gave
you-
me a little teaching in
Well, that's
Chinese.
good. Chinese, I
So-
see. And you do that at Phoenix College, and that's, I guess, is a regular evening class, or is it a day class?
It's basically a Saturday class. With my teaching job, I try to keep it to Saturdays.
I see.
And
Well, you know, I told the people here in the opening that we were going to cook some truly Western dishes. Now, you know, Japan is quite a ways west, isn't it?
exactly, as far as you can go.
Almost
you said.
as far as you can go. Well, today we're going to be doing some Japanese food. And you might say, well, what old Chili Bill doing eating Japanese food? Well, I like Japanese food, that's what. And I spent some time in Japan, and I know a little bit about it myself. So why don't you get started and give us a little bit of idea of some of the stuff that we're going to be cooking with.
All right, we're going to be making sushi today, and basically there's 3 different types of sushi. There's the nigiri sushi, which is a rice ball.
Who? What?
Nigiri sushi.
Okay, and what's that?
And that's
round
a rice ball.
ball?
You
Rice
have
ball.
some type of a raw fish topping
Oh,
or cooked
yeah,
shrimp. It doesn't
yeah.
have to be raw. That's the first type. The second type...
Sashimi.
Sashimi,
Oh,
exactly,
okay.
the raw fish. The second type is what we'll be making today, the roll type.
Now, that's the roll type where we have over here, where they're all rolled up nice and pretty. Is that right? That's what they're going to look like, something like that when we get through?
It's jelly roll type.
Jelly roll type,
And
okay.
The third type is a loose rice that's mixed up with vegetables and similar to the fillings that we use today.
I see. Now, didn't you tell me that you had kind of worked on a southwestern type of sushi?
Well, yes, there's a little Arizona touch to our sushi today.
Little Arizona
So,
touch. All right.
We'll go through the ingredients and find out what that southwestern
Okay, why don't
ingredient
you
is.
kind of show us what you've got here and tell us a little bit about some of the food before we start putting it together.
All right, first of all, you have to start with your rice, and the rice
Let's
is
get that up here.
it's
Tell
a
us a little
short
about the
grain rice, and a little bit different from the rice that the Chinese use. The Chinese use a long grain versus the Japanese, and it's a little shorter grain.
This
So
is, you
it's
can't really
fat
see it
and
on
short.
camera, but it's short and fat. Now, they
Exactly.
tell me that this is
And
covered with something.
It's covered with starch for storage reasons.
Storage reasons, I
And that's
see.
why when you use any of the Japanese rice, you do rinse it 2 to 3 times to get rid of the starch. And
I
that
know when my
helps
wife
you-
does it, she has to rinse it, and it gets kind of a cloudy, milky look to it when she's
and
washing
you rinse it
it.
until it gets somewhat clear.
mhm.
It will be somewhat milky yet.
And so
then
this
you-
is what we have. This is after it's been cooked in your rice machine. We're going to show you that in the next segment, so make sure you stay tuned because it's quite a unique little piece of equipment. All right, go ahead and...
Now, after you cook the rice, you do add awa sezu.
Awa sezu?
Very good.
Uh-huh.
Now, the awa sezu is a vinegar solution. It has some vinegar, rice vinegar, which is a lighter version
Mirin?
of white. A little bit different from
A little
the-
different. Okay, I missed
So you
that.
have your white vinegar along with your rice vinegar.
I see.
And then some sugar and salt and MSG.
Do the Japanese kind of cook by taste, or like a pinch of this, and like Grandma used to do, a pinch of this and a pinch of that?
Always, of course.
Oh, they do?
But I have perfected it into a recipe.
Yes, you do cook
So,
by recipes?
yes.
Because I have to cook by a recipe.
So
I must cook by recipe.
We always have recipes available too.
Okay.
And this is what your vinegar solution will look like.
Kind of a cloudy. Now,
It'll
what
be
does that have
cloudy.
in it?
That's your sugar and
Oh, I see,
salt.
yeah. All right.
And you can shake that up and use it.
Okay.
And you can pour it over your rice.
All right, well, now
This
what's
rice,
next here?
We have canned tuna.
This
is
is
a little
just-
Americanized
Americanized
sushi.
sushi?
Well, we had a
All right.
Southwest, we can add an American
Okay, all right.
touch.
But now, see, the reason why she has to tell you all this now, because when she starts rolling, it really goes kind of fast then, doesn't it?
It does. It's the preparation takes a lot, but
Yeah,
the
preparation.
rolling is quite fast.
All right, go over the rest of
And
those
then
for me.
here is your Southwestern,
Ah,
the green
yes.
chili.
Now we're getting there. Chilibill's going to have a little bit of chili here, so we got to have some chili. Now what's
And
next?
then this is your egg strips that we'll be showing you how to cook.
Now that looks kind of like a real thin omelet that's
It
been cut
is.
into strips. Is that
Right,
what it is?
we'll
All
be
right.
showing you that.
Okay.
And the next ingredient, this is the Japanese mushroom called shiitake. And it's
Shiitake?
shiitake,
Shiitake.
right.
Okay.
And it is a dried product when you buy it, and then you
Oh, you
soak
have,
it
yeah,
in
I
water,
see, yeah.
and then you can...
They use a lot of that where you have to use the water to bring it back.
Right.
That's for storage too, no doubt.
Exactly. And then we'll cut it into the strips. And the last ingredient is pickled red ginger, and
Oh,
it is
yeah.
sliced into little fine shreds.
Yeah, and that has a good smell to it too.
Yes,
doesn't
and
it?
it does add nice
Use a
color
lot
to
of
the
that in
sushi.
the Oriental foods.
Right. So
Now-
those are the basic ingredients.
All right.
And then
Now
we'll
what's
be
this
going-
dark-looking stuff over here?
Well, this is the ingredient that Chinese and Japanese could not do without in their
Yes,
cooking.
I think I know what that is. Of course-
Shoyu.
Shoyu.
Soy sauce for the
uh-huh.
Americans, yes.
Yeah, and what, do you know what they call it in Chinese? I
I'm
don't.
not sure.
I'm asking you.
I'm
but I
not
do
sure
know
what
that
it's
it's
called.
shoyu in Japanese. Well, but I noticed that there is a difference between the soy sauces. Have you ever noticed
Exactly. The
Uh,
Japanese is
right.
a little bit darker
Yeah,
variety
uh-huh.
versus the Chinese.
that? And of course, this is done, they do this very similar to wine. And it's aged for years
It's a
sometimes
fermented product,
in
exactly.
kegs. And it, of course, is made out of the soy bean,
Beef,
right?
Right. Lots
Well-
of soy products in the Japanese
Now,
cuisine.
okay, now we've covered what's this? Now, this is the stuff I was talking to him about just a minute ago. Now, what is this?
This is the nori, seaweed.
Nori.
And there are different types of seaweed that the Japanese use. This is just one basic type. This is a dried sheet. It's paper thin.
Paper thin.
And what you need to do with the nori before using it in your sushi is to basically toast it.
Toast
and
it.
we can do that right now.
We're going to toast that right
And-
now. What do you need? This?
No, just this alone.
Oh, just that alone.
And
All
when you
right.
have
It's not going to flame
electric-
up on us?
No.
All right. Why don't you just
Whether
come
you
right on
have-
over here? It's
Whether
kind of
you have
hot.
the electric or gas, either one is fine.
Mhm.
And basically, you just wave it over.
Oh, yes. I've seen him
And-
do that before.
You can see how the color is changing. And we'll get a little bit
Oh, I see.
crisper.
All right. I see what you're doing. And really, you're just using the heat to change the crispness in it then, huh?
Well, it develops the flavor a little bit. You can see the
Yeah, I can
fragrance
smell it.
coming
I can
up.
smell it coming up
Exactly.
now.
So it develops the flavor in the nori.
I see. And there is a definite difference in the color of it.
Right.
Well,
It
we're
does
going to have
change
to take a little
colors.
break, and we'll get some more of this stuff prepared, and then you're going to make up some. Is that
Right.
correct?
I'll go
And
ahead
we'll
with
go
the
ahead
egg omelet.
and oh, you're going to make
And
the egg
we'll-
first then, huh?
Right.
The
We'll
egg
have-
omelet.
Right.
What do you call the egg omelet now? What do you call this?
Tamago?
Tamago?
Right.
All right. Well, we'll be back in just a few minutes here, and we'll finish up making this far western food. Don't go away. Okay. Well, we're back. Nancy, what are we going to be doing now?
Well, we'll start with the egg omelet.
Egg
and that's
omelet?
almost paper thin,
Oh,
not
all
quite
right.
that thin.
Okay. So then what do you want to do? We'll just move over here, and I'll put this
Right.
back on here because it's beginning to smoke just a little bit, so it'll heat right back up. Now what we're going to do is make the real thin omelet. Is that
Right,
correct?
to
Why don't you
wrap
go
it.
right ahead and start doing it?
All right. Now, this egg has been beaten a little bit with a little water,
A little bit of water.
a dash of salt, sugar, and MSG.
I see.
And we'll pour it in very slowly so we get a thin pancake, actually.
I see. All right, you go right
So
ahead there and do
There's
that.
kind of a trick into
All
this.
right.
You'll pour just a little at a time and coat the
Oh,
edges.
yeah, I see.
And you keep swirling the pan until you get kind of
It's
an
paper
even
thin.
thickness.
Paper thin. Let's see if we
Shake
can
it
pick
around.
that up with the camera just a little bit there. And there we go. It's just paper thin. Go ahead.
All right. And then eventually, as it starts cooking, it'll curl away from the sides, as you can see. It's
Oh, yeah.
happening
Yeah, I can see
here.
it.
And we'll get it cooked up, and then we'll toss it over just for a little second.
Oh, you do turn it over on the other side.
I'd like to, just so that
Okay.
it's not wet.
Now, what are we
when
going to
you
turn that
wrap.
over with? Do we have some?
I have my chopsticks.
Oh, yeah,
That's-
you do
we cook
everything with that, don't you?
Fry bacon. I mean, that's our universal
Everything.
utensil.
Yeah, well, it's probably a lot older in origin than the fork when you really get to it.
Exactly. Right.
Yeah.
So-
Is that that's going to turn loose there on you?
Right. It'll turn loose. It's
All right.
Teflon coated, so it'll kind of
I
just...
see. What they do with it before they had Teflon? Surely they didn't have Teflon 2,000 years ago.
Well, I used to use Pam, and even before Pam, they had to have just plain oil.
Okay, I see.
So if you don't have Pam or Teflon coated, you can always just use a
little bit of oil or something? Yeah, sure. Okay.
Sure, any oil, vegetable oil.
Now,
will
you're sure
do.
that's going to turn over? Well, look at that. There it is. There it is. Coming right on. Isn't that pretty?
Oh, dear.
Well, that's all right. Go ahead. Turn right on over. That's good. There you go. Now, those other ones are in long strips. Now, you just cut them that way or what?
Right, we'll cut them into strips, and it just comes out very nicely.
Oh, I see. And then you roll them?
Right, we'll be rolling
I
it
see.
down.
I see. Now, how long do we leave it on this side like
Just
that?
a second.
Just a second. Okay,
20
so we can
20
take that off
seconds.
now then?
All right.
We want to make one more real quick here,
Sure.
okay? Well, that's hot enough, that's for sure. There we go.
If you find that it's too thin, you can always pour in a little more egg.
Now, of course, you've been probably cooking Oriental-type food since you were a little girl, no doubt.
Well, almost.
Yeah.
My mother always had us in the kitchen doing
Oh,
one
yeah,
thing or
sure.
another.
But that was mostly Japanese food probably then, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
So then you've learned the other Oriental cooking probably a lot later then.
Right.
I see.
Going off to college, you always
Oh,
meet your
sure.
husband and you want to cook
You
for
know,
him.
I've never found a Japanese of Japanese origin that didn't like Chinese food either. You know, we always hung out in Chinese places with Japanese young people.
Kind of goes hand in
yeah,
hand,
sure,
doesn't it?
sure does. All right, now what are we going to do? We're going to wait till this cooks a little bit more. We're going to turn this one over.
Right.
And then we should be about ready to start rolling some of the sushi. Is
Right.
that correct? And we're going to make two different kinds today,
Right.
did you say?
We'll wrap in two different.
Wrapping two different kinds, and then we're going to use some rice balls.
Right.
Yeah,
That's the
Japanese
first type.
Yeah, the Japanese kids take those to school almost
Oh,
like a sandwich, don't they?
definitely.
Yeah.
Where the American child takes a sandwich,
That's right.
the Japanese
Yeah.
child will take
Yeah.
a nigiri.
When I
rice
was in
ball.
Japan, and I was at the Kodokan, which was the central school of judo in Japan,
Right.
they would bring those in almost a little lunch box, and they would eat those in judo practice, just like you know, a sandwich, taking a sandwich to work or something. Yeah,
I
well,
bet it was nicely prepared.
Oh, it was beautiful.
The visual was just as effective.
That's right. That's the big part of Oriental cooking, and I haven't been quite as associated with some of the other Oriental cookings as I have with the Japanese, but I imagine that the other Oriental types of food are as pretty as the Japanese, huh?
Right. They all have some visual effect.
Right. Because, you know, a lot of times, I guess, over there, they didn't have a lot of different things to eat, so they made with what they had, you know, the certain little things that they had. Now, we've got this done, now what are we going to do here?
Now we're ready to wrap.
Well, now we're going to do a little wrapping here, I see. All right, now which one are we going to start out with? Now they call these, in Japanese, they call these hashi?
Ohashi.
Ohashi. That's a big one.
Well, when you add o to the word, it just adds a little formality to it.
I see, okay. All right, now you go right ahead then and you get started on this first one here, and we'll get a close-up because this is an interesting thing to watch. So
Well, go ahead and, this is the rice that we have
I see.
cooked.
Oh, did you want me to show them the rice cooker? Let me go get the rice cooker. Be right back here. Here we go. look at that. Look at that piece of equipment. And this is your rice, and what happens is as this rice cooks in there, it boils the water off, and then it turns a little switch off, and automatically turns the rice cooker off,
Exactly.
right? They don't have to worry about burning the rice. Well, we're getting that signal from the director out there, and he wants us to get to going. So we have enough rice here to do this thing? I'll put this back in here then. I'll put that back here. Okay, now let's go.
Ready to roll.
We're ready to go.
Here's the window shade.
The window shade,
that
all right.
actually is used to wrap the sushi. And we
All
start
right.
with the nori, the seaweed first. And whenever you make sushi, you always need a bowl of rice, a bowl of water on the side.
Water. Now, what would that be for?
And it's to pat down the rice.
Ah, yeah,
Otherwise,
I've seen them do that.
the fingers
In the
get
sushi
all-
bar, I've seen them do that.
Right. So we'll go ahead and start with about
All right, you just
one
stick right
cup
in
of
here where you
water.
can get it done, and I'll kind of stand behind you here just a little bit.
And you're just going to pat down the rice about a ½ inch thickness or less.
All right, now do you do it clear to the edge of the nori? Now this is nori,
to
right?
all,
Yeah.
right. You want to go to 3 edges.
Three
and
edges.
the 4th edge you want to leave open so you can, as you roll, the rice will push it.
All right. Now, we're going to put in this, we're going to put some of these goodies that we have over here. Is that right?
We'll put in the fillings, right.
All right, now
And-
then, are we going to use some of those chilies in this one? Or
Oh,
not?
definitely.
Or in the next one?
Well, we'll go ahead. Actually,
right.
there's 5 ingredients here, and the Japanese are somewhat superstitious. You have to have,
Uh-oh.
as with all cultures,
Oh, yeah.
we have to have odd numbers of everything. So when you have a
Uh-oh,
party,
I see 4 up there.
well, 1,
Oh, okay, all right.
okay, now he sees it.
All right, now go ahead and roll
So
one of
we'll
those.
go
Let's see what
ahead
we're doing here now.
and put in the first filling, the tuna.
That's the tuna. That's the American style tuna there.
Yes, now
All
you
right.
could use raw tuna if
maguro?
you want the maguro,
Uh-huh.
which is a type of tuna.
All right, now the tuna goes in first, and you just go right straight, almost like
You just
building a
make a
taco,
strip.
isn't it? I know how to build a taco.
Okay, well, you'll be real good at a sushi then.
All right, why don't you put the rest of that in there, and
you
we'll roll
want to leave
that.
a clearance here.
Okay.
And here's the Southwest flavor we'll be adding with the green chili.
Oh, there they go. That's going to make it new. Now what are we going to call this? We're going to call this what? Arizona style? Southwest
Sure.
style?
That sounds good.
Okay.
And this is the egg that we
All
fried
right.
up.
Now that's the cut where that's this, only we've cut it into strips.
And this is your shiitake, the
Okay.
dried mushroom that was
All right.
soaked down. And then we'll add the beni shoga, the
Bini
pickled,
shoga.
the pickled ginger. And that's
Okay.
basically to
Ooh, that
add
looks
some
pretty
color.
right there.
Exactly. And that's your 5 ingredients.
All
and
right.
now the rolling technique is somewhat special.
All
I
right.
had terrible
I'm
time
watching.
as a child.
Here we
Now
go.
you're going to hold these ingredients in and make your first tuck.
Oh yeah, I've watched him make
And
that
then you're
real
gonna
tight one.
roll out the window shade
Out the window shade.
and tuck again.
Tuck again.
And you're just going to keep tucking and rolling
Tucking and rolling.
until you
Okay.
go all the way to the end.
All right.
And then it's completely rolled, and you're just going to wrap it up one more time to tighten it.
Tighten everything
And
down.
When you're
That's to
tightening,
set it.
Right. You want to keep it into the circle
I
shape.
see.
I've seen square sushi.
Oh
so
yeah.
to keep it round, you have to
Ah,
roll it,
look
and
at
there's
that.
your
Now
roll.
look at that. Of course, this is before she's, is cut it into the little pieces. We're going to have to take a little break and go sell some things. And we'll be back in just about a minute. And then you're going to show us how to cut this up and set it up. And then we're going to sit down and eat. Right?
Right.
Okay, don't go away.
Now available to the public for the very first time. As seen on television, Chilibill'S Kitchen. You can have your own video cookbook. You can cook up all those enchiladas, fried chicken, chili, sourdough biscuits. Yes, you can have these and many more exciting, tantalizing, and spicy recipes and tips of Mexican and Western style cooking. Cook along with old Chili Bill as he prepares his and your favorite authentic Mexican and old Western pleasing dishes. 2 hours of recipes, culinary know-how, and entertainment.
All right, we're heading in for the final leg here. So we're going to have to start moving. We're running short on time. So let's start building that last one right now.
All right. Well, we'll start with the egg this time.
Now this is the egg that we cooked up in this pan right here.
Right. And because the egg is a little bit smaller than the nori, you use a little bit less rice.
A little less rice,
but
I see.
the thickness will basically be the same.
Mm-hmm. Well, you know, they tell me, the guy out there is telling me that it's probably too late for me to put my apron on, but I'm going to go ahead and put my apron on while you're doing that anyhow.
Well, it gets a little messy, so it's probably the best.
Go ahead and keep on going while I'm getting the apron on.
And again, we'll start with the tuna. There really is no specific order you need to follow.
Now, are you going to load this one the same as you did the other one?
We'll fill it with the same.
I see. All right.
And there's our green chili.
The green chili's in there. Of course, we got that good old Southwestern, you know, sushi here. We have to push that a little bit, you know. That sounds like it could be pretty good to me. All right, and the last thing is the mushroom, and what'd you call that?
Shiitake.
Shiitake.
And then we'll finish with the red garnishing
All right.
touch.
Put that in there. Now, they usually use this during one of their festivals or something, don't they? One of their important days, the Japanese people?
They use this a lot during Shogatsu, or New Year's season.
New Year's season, I see.
Red is very, has a special meaning. It means,
I see.
Happiness and...
All right, now you notice that what she does here, she doesn't put this underneath, you know, she just keeps that shade going in front.
Keep it on top, and
there
again, you'll roll it to the end and give it one good tuck.
There's your tuck, all right. Oh, there's the one with the egg.
Same thing. Now, you will have a loose end, but when you wrap it, it will stay in your saran. If you let it set for a while, it'll help. And now to cut it.
Now let's cut them. Let's get this out of the way. We don't need that anymore, do we? Now let's get this out of the way here. All right. You just go right ahead and work on those.
To cut it, because the rice is sticky, you need your knife along with a wet towel.
Ah, yeah. Okay.
So you'll be wetting
I
that
understand.
after every cut. And because of the smaller size of the egg, you'll get 6 pieces instead of 8 pieces.
Okay, now that paper towel is wet over there, right?
Right, it's a wet paper towel, and you'll wipe it after each cut to get a clean cut.
Whatever happens to the ends of those things? I've never had any of the ends. You don't throw those away, do you?
It is kept for the family.
Kept for the family, I see.
Special occasions.
They tell me that you do a little bit of catering, is that right?
Well, I try to in my spare time.
And you cater this type of food?
It's the classes I cater are the cooking classes I offer at Phoenix College. And those include Chinese, Japanese, and Korean classes.
Okay. Now let's see. Let's do the other one real quick here. What, you going to do the other one for me too?
We'll put this,
Okay.
We'll set this on the plate, and as you can see, it's a simple garnish.
Now see the garnish that she's done here? Don't forget we've got that funny looking egg over there to do something with that pretty quick. There we go.
There's one.
There's one. Now we're going to put the other one on a different plate, huh?
To cut the...
All right, why don't you bring that right over here so they can see it. There we go. Okay.
And to cut the one with the seaweed is basically the same thing.
All right. You just go ahead and whack that up. And you'll get 8 pieces with this. 8 pieces. I see. Oh, isn't that interesting?
But you'll find that there's different size sushi, rolled sushi. Some people will have a sushi that's 2 to 3 inches.
I've seen little bitty ones too, like that.
Exactly. And those are filled with cucumber or raw fish. And we will garnish this one. We'll put it on a red platter, which will have a little colored variation.
There we go. Now we're going to have to hurry up here a little bit, and I want you to show me that egg over there. That egg has got me intrigued. I want to see what you're going to do with that egg.
It is an interesting egg, isn't it?
That is an interesting egg.
Now, to make this formation, you do have to work with a hard-boiled egg, and then you'll take your 5 chopsticks,
now let's put this out here so they can see it. I see. And that what you've done is make a form here.
Right.
All right, take those out and let's see what we've got. A hard-boiled egg is what it is. And look at that funny looking thing.
And then when you slice it,
go ahead and slice one piece there.
That's the interesting part.
Isn't that something?
You'll get a flower
That.
design.
Now, isn't that pretty?
Garnishing.
Look at that. That's beautiful looking. We're going to set up a table. We're going to sit down, and I'm going to have a little bit of this. And these guys out here with the cameras and so forth look like they want to try some too. And we've got a few guests out here that want to try some. So don't go away. We're going to be right back. Oh boy, isn't this something? Look at that beautiful thing there. Well, we're going to dip into this, and I'm going to see whether or not I can use these.
Oh,
I'll probably drop everything.
No, I know your experience.
Come on, show us what we got here.
Now,
what do? We're just going to go ahead and use
let
these.
me serve
yes, that's right. Let's do it properly here.
Now, here's the egg sushi.
All right.
And then I'll give you one of the
Oh, that looks good.
nori
That
sushis.
looks good. All right.
And
Why don't you
wanna
grab
help
one for yourself
to
there,
the-
and I'll get this and this good old hot stuff here. Now, if people wanted to have you do demonstrations or to do some catering, they could get a hold of you at, let's see, at 997-1236.
Right.
Is that correct?
Yes.
And your company is called Onion Enterprises, right? Well, I tell you, I've got to try some of this. Now, what we do is we kind of nibble from one side, don't we?
Yes, and it is finger food.
Yes, it is.
I know you want to practice
Oh,
your
no, that's all right. If
chopsticks.
it's finger food, let's do this here. Just go right ahead there and eat.
Now, you can serve the sushi without the mustard. That is an option.
Mm-hmm.
And this is just the one type of sushi we're offering today.
That's hot. That's hot. Delicious. You know, I don't know whether or not you people can fix this yourself, but at least try. And then if you, if you really wanted somebody to help you, you could get a hold of Nancy here. So till we see you next time, try some of this. Adios.